Today, let's discuss about how we can keep banking application in our resume and how to explain that. So in banking application, okay, so if you wanted to keep it right, at least you need to spend 4 to 5 hours in one day and keep ready all the information so that you can prepare whenever you have interview. So I will tell you step by step how we can prepare banking application and how we can keep in our resume. So components wise, we have a multiple components like a UI and a web servers and a core system. So UI applications always it will be mobile or web application like a mobile application banking or net banking UI side which we interact. So web servers, all the services, or I can say microservices, they are monolithic services, are hosted almost it will be in the GCP or Azure, okay, Amazon Web Services. So and core system, it will be a Finacle always. Most of the banks use Finacle as to fetch the information like your account information, your cards information, loan information. So how it works? Let me tell you how it will work in the like a basic one end-to-end flow. Suppose if you see here in a diagram, there is a client's mobile app or net banking. Okay. So in this client, suppose I am using mobile app and I have wanted to fetch the loans information of my of particular account or I logged in as a one user and I have particular multiple loans and I wanted to check the data. Okay, so once I click on loans, okay, there will be API call which will be called behind the scene. That API calls are in the web server and those are in hosted in the Azure or GCP or AWS. Okay, stick with one of them while you are explaining. Those are hosted in Azure, suppose. Okay, so API call will is triggered when I clicked on the loans from the client side, and that API call is in the web server. So that is going to interact with the Finacle server or Finacle core system, you can say. So complete information about your information like accounts information, cards information, loans information, everything is in Finacle. Okay, can be maintained in Finacle. So all the banks maintain in Finacle. So the call will interact with Finacle and it gets the data as a response and it gives to the user interface. So that's how the call API call interacts between Finacle and client, mobile app or net banking clients. When I say client, it's a mobile app or net banking. So information it fetches and it gives to the clients and who can see the data. So that's how the interaction will happen. So if you know this basic component how these are interacted, it is enough for you as a QA. Okay, so when it comes to Finacle, right, it is a developed by Infosys and it is used by like almost 80% of the banks use Finacle as a for banking applications as to store the information and to retrieve the information. Okay, for the all the like users or loans or in that way cards. Few people may maintain suppose cards if they wanted to maintain separately they will maintain okay in separate systems. Okay, there are some third party other servers as well which they want if they wanted to maintain, so it's up to them but from our side we should be very clear what we are using. Okay, so we know basic components UI web servers and core system which is used, and for developers they should know logs error checks notifications how those will be whenever they are while development, like they should know how those are, right? So we don't need much, but if you wanted to know just you can, I will tell you how you can go and check for banks how what they will use for logs and error checks or notifications how it will be. So we know components now, we know how end-to-end calls are happening. Okay. So if you wanted to get that information, right, just check. go to Gemini and banking end-to-end working nature with Finacle core system. Just type this so that you will get the uh, all the information. Just you need to study that at least 1 hour so that you will understand at least 50% so that you can explain in the interviews. So now if I say now which modules you worked on it, okay, so we should know enough information to explain there. So the step one, okay, suppose whenever I am preparing for banking application to explain in interview, okay, first I will, maybe I worked on 1 year back, 2 years back, 3 years back, right? But if I wanted to explain now, saying that with confident I worked on particular banking application, okay, I go and set information about that first. So what I did, prompting, we need to give Gemini or ChatGPT so that we'll get the enough information. So step one, what I did, banking domain list of modules for a project, explanation in interviews. So whenever I type this, I got the enough information. And the prompt two I given as a list of testing scenarios for the modules. These modules I listed in ChatGPT. So I copy pasted entire this thing so that I got the information for customer relationship management. What are the modules which we can explain in interview, and the loan management, what we can explain in interviews in the same way called issues and management, issuance and management. So I am going to tell in interview saying that I worked on these three modules. So now we should know little bit about these modules: customer relationship management and loan management and cards management. So step by step now we should know what all information is available about CRM management and loan management and cards. So account management, okay, whenever it comes to accounts management, right, there will be managing customer information, okay, and whenever we are interacting with the as a customer, okay, I may interact with to get some information about loans is eligibility, or some investment related, I interact with my relationship manager, okay, all those things, okay, comes under customer relationship management, okay, and customer onboarding, okay, new user is opening suppose account, so KYC information, okay, like customer profiling, okay. So in that way CRM will have these below things, okay. So now we should know what all testing scenarios will be there for CRM. Okay, module one, suppose we are taking, and which all modules are which all scenarios we test in this particular CRM. Because as a QA, we should be able to tell what all information, uh, like what kind of scenarios we perform testing in the particular module. So how I got this information? So as if you spend 3 to 4 hours, as I explained, you will be able to explain very easily. So now in prompt three, okay, in the next step, what I given. So now I got the list of scenarios. Okay, here, if you give list of testing scenarios for the modules, and if you list the module names, I got the information as like this. Okay, module one, in the customer relationship management, we can test these modules, like testing areas, I can say, okay, customer onboarding, new customer creation, okay, KYC, how end-to-end journey is happening in application, customer information, like updating some information, retrieving some information, viewing customer data. So while fetching these details, any uh, like we can do multiple scenarios, okay. And when we are interacting with calls, emails, and like if you see like account management, loan management, okay, with other modules, whenever you are trying to interact, okay, whether you are getting valid information or not, okay, reports, okay. performance metrics of like on paying bills, how much you are spending, and paying online retailing online retailers. Like suppose you are doing some purchases every month, how that reports are visible to you as a for a particular user when you logged in as a net banking user. So we should know all these areas. Okay, how we can perform testing. Okay, so what I given, just I given, okay, key testing areas, okay, testing scenarios for these modules. Customer relationship, now I know which modules I can explain, which testing scenarios I can explain to the in interviews. So in the same way, okay, testing scenarios, positive flow and invalid data, duplicate customer check, KYC document upload. Whenever I am doing uploading various valid invalid documents and with different sizes, okay, I should be validating the successful uploads, error handling, invalid ones when we are handling invalid type of files. What is the error they are giving us? Okay, to as a user, you should be able to understand. Okay, depends on the error. So and minor account if particular who are below age of 18, what is happening when they are trying to do uh, with guardian without guardian details. Okay, so positive and negative flows, we should be able to test these. So we should know these details. Okay, what kind of scenarios we validated so that you will get confidence to explain in interviews as saying that I worked on banking application. So in the same way, I got the information from module to loan application. Okay, loans, module to loans. Okay, submit complete loan for various loan types, personal, home, auto loans. There are different types of loans. Okay, so personal loans, home loans, auto loan, how the journey for the user. Okay, and what kind of scenarios we need to test it. Okay, these are the scenarios we can test. So this information, how I got, just I spent 4 hours to get the correct information for the banking application. So I can easily explain in interview. Okay, by as I spent much like required time to understand this particular module. Okay, so with mandatory fields validation. Okay, and without like missing some mandatory fields, what is happening when we are trying to submit application for a loans. So in the same way, invalid data formats, invalid data I'm giving. Okay, so on a document upload verification in the journey of approvals of like filling complete information and while getting approved for the loans. Okay, in the process of document upload, how we are getting errors, whether all are valid or not, and error messages are understanding or not, and credit score integration. Okay, so like we have CIBIL score, right? Okay, based on that various conditions, like if CIBIL score is below 600, how it is happening, below 300, how that is working. So in the same way, so loan dispersal, okay, on the successful approvals, okay, loan like successful disbursement is happening or not. Okay, so in that way, we should be able to explain all these scenarios in interviews. And next one, suppose if you see cards management, okay, so cards, when it comes to cards like new card eligibility checks, okay, so in that card activation, okay, submitting, select, setting a new pins, personal details, all these, okay, with positive and negative scenarios, we can test it. Okay, so these are the key testing areas. Okay, this information, this document I will send in the group, which I am going to give in the comment section, the Telegram group. If you want, you can join there and you can get this information. Or as I given how to search in a as a prompting in a Gemini, so that from there also you can collect the information and you can keep that information so that it will be available for you always while before attending for interviews. Okay, so normally I try to keep all the documents in that particular place, or I can upload in the Google Drive also. I can give the link in the description of this in the YouTube. Okay, so you can get there also. Okay, in the same way, I like suppose I given some other modules as well. Okay, general lecture module and the investment module. So I just try to get the information about 2 to 3 modules, not required all the modules. Okay, just I can say I worked on these 3 modules. Okay, I worked on these 3 modules. I am going to explain as a in interviews, so that we should know very well about those 3 modules. What kind of areas I am going to perform testing. Okay, now possible bugs in the about testing scenarios to explain in interviews. I given as a prompt 3. What are the possible bugs which I can explain in interviews? Okay, in Gemini, I given as a this particular text as a prompt. Okay, so you see, I am going to do step by step so that you will understand how I am giving. If someone is not very well aware, just this is a step 1, prompting 1 I given. Here we will get the all the modules. Okay, customer CRM. This is okay. Core banking. Okay, and we will get all the other things as well. Loans. Okay, we will get the transactions, payments. So in this, right, we need these modules data, which is this one. So I'm going to copy paste this information. So I will get the required information now. List of testing scenarios, we will get it now. Okay, these are the testing scenarios, functional testing. We will be able to the data. So now this information I am going to explain in interview. If they goes inside deeper and if they ask some scenarios, otherwise we don't need to explain all these things. Okay, and now testing scenarios. So in the same prompt, I am going to give in the same continuation of the giving prompt. Now I will give this particular one so that I will get the enough information about scenarios of like in that particular modules. In the CRM functional, what are the bugs it may occur? Okay, so you can explain a couple of uh, like bugs you can list out and you can explain their interviews. Okay, so in that way we should be able to prepare it for interviews. Okay, as we are saying, we automated in these all 3 modules, so we should be able to tell about this as well. Okay, whenever we are saying these automation information. Okay, project name. If you wanted to like if you wanted to keep some banking name, right? If just set some unknown bank which is in present in Europe countries or Gulf countries, one of the bank, and say that I automated 150 UI test cases, end-to-end test cases as automation, and 350 API cases, including positive and negative cases. I used to have 120 APIs and including API positive and negative cases, it came around 350 API cases. In that way, you can explain if they ask how many test cases you automated. So I hope you understood like how we can understand like how we can keep banking application and how we can explain in interviews. Okay, so framework you should understand the projects you can say architecture how it is. So this is architecture. You can explain basic architecture, and you can explain the modules, which modules you automated, and testing scenarios in that particular module, and what are the possible bugs in that particular module. So 4 components you should be able to list out with the prompting. So those prompting texts I am going to give in the comment section. So these prompting text or description I am going to give there. Just go there and prepare very well for it to keep a banking project in a resume, because in other domains, okay, there are very less openings are there present, okay, in the present scenario. Okay, if you are getting some calls, if you say I worked on banking, so it may be like chances are more that you will be able to crack if you are very good in technical aspects as well. So thank you. Just try keeping and try to explain very well by preparing at least 4 to 5 hours, so that you will be able to explain very confidently.